Hello and welcome to this class. On this segment, we'll be looking at how to calculate pips in the forex market. Now, as we all know, we have actually explained the meaning of pips. So that pips literally means percentage interest points or price interest points. And we said that it's actually the value at which price in market makers will always buy price, or the point at which market makers will always sell the price. Now, if for instance they buy a particular price at a particular figure, the profit they will make is usually calculated in pips. And we say that different instruments have different number categories of pips, that how to calculate the pips that is being made. Now, for example, we say that this is gold, and gold is half pips is being calculated in 2 decimal points. That means we start calculating our pips from the first decimal for the second decimal point up onto the first decimal point before we enter the whole number. Now we say that this other one over here is a fractional pips. It's actually very negligible when it comes to calculation of pips in the market. Now we also equally say that currency pairs, especially the major currency pairs like the Euro USD, the GBP USD, NZD USD, and all the USD pairs that exclude the JPY, are calculated from the fourth decimal figure. Now we have what we call in the index. Okay, for this index we have in the US 30. It's actually calculated from the first decimal point. Consider this is a decimal point. So you start calculating number of pips from the first after the decimal point. The first number after the decimal is where you start calculating the number of pips price is ranging. Now the other one we're going to be looking at is what? Now we've actually explained that currencies are currency pairs, excluding the JPY pairs, and the excluding the JPY pairs calculation starts. Major currency pairs that exclude the JPY pairs are usually calculated from the fourth decimal number. We remember that this raised to power over here 1 and raised to power 2, this one is also an insignificant figure when it comes to calculation in pips in the market. So this is literally called a pipette. Now we have the JPY pair. Now we have the AUD JPY. You can see it here. This is second decimal, first decimal number, which is the 50, and the second decimal number, which is the 0. So the calculation of pips each start from the second decimal number, and this one is actually the pipette. So we neglect the pipette. Now you can see the oil and all that. So all aside the major currency pairs, every other one has four decimal places. Aside indices has just 1 decimal place. So you neglect the other one and start calculating from the first number after the decimal. So now let's look at how to calculate pips on different instruments. So we're going to be taking the example of the Euro USD, which is the first for currency pairs. After the Euro USD, we'll be looking at how to calculate pips in gold. So let's look at the Euro USD, for example. So we're going to click our chart and open our chart here. So now what we're going to do here is that, first of all, we have not placed any trade here. So first of all, for you to know, there are 2 ways to calculate pips. For example, if for instance you've placed a trade in a market, you can literally calculate how many pips that you are making when it comes to profit. Or rather, if you are on a sales segment and you're on profit, you calculate how many pips you are making in the market. If you're on buy segment and you're also on profit, you can calculate how many pips you are making. Or if for example you are selling and probably on loss, or you are buying and you're on loss, you can also calculate how many pips the price is giving you at that point in time. But if for instance you are not placing any trade, you just decide to just you just want to calculate how many pips price have moved, you can also calculate how many pips price have moved. Probably you are monitoring a price at a point, and at the end of the day you miss that price. Because okay, let me check how much pips this would have given me if I had placed that trade. So these are ways of you calculating number of pips that price can give you whether you place a trade or you did not place a trade. So me, I did not place any trade, so I'm going to be calculating how many pips price would have given me if I had placed a trade. So now let's look at it here. Let me assume that I'm going to buy. All right, so I'm going to be using my higher time frame. Let me say I'm using a 4 hours time frame to place a trade. So if I use a 4 hours time frame, then what I'm going to do here is that I will place my crosshair over here. So once I place my crosshair over here, I will now hold it at the left hand side, the cross at the left hand side. Okay, so what you're going to do here is that you're going to hold your cross at your left hand side. You can see the figure over there. We're having 1.0702. 1.0702. Remember the 4 over there is an insignificant number. So I'm going to drag my crosshair over here and I'll extend it over. I'll use my right hand to extend it over to the upside. So we have it's actually from 1 point. So you can see that price has moved from 1.0 1.0702. You can see the price level up onto this level 1.0950. Remember the last one here is a pipette, so it's a fractional pip which is negligible in the market. So if for instance price has moved from here to here, now let's see how many pips that it has calculated. Now remember that the crosshair will always give us automatic calculation. If for instance you are using the MT5 platform, it will always calculate how many pips price have moved. So what we're going to do here is that, okay, this from here up onto this level, it has given us the difference. So if we should subtract 1.0702 to 1.00950, we are going to be having 0.02477. All right, this is what we're going to be having. This one I are seeing, this 45, is the number of candles. These are the number of candles the price has moved from this point over to this side. So all these things you are seeing is the number of candles. So we have moved over 45 candles. All right, remember that this is Euro USD. So now let's see how many pips it has given us. So remember that the last number here is a pipette. It's actually negligible. So this is the first decimal place, the second decimal place, and the third decimal place. So the third decimal place is stating that price has moved 247 pips. All right, remember that the last number here is a pipette, so we're not going to calculate the pipette. So from the first decimal, which is the 7, the second decimal, which is the 4, the third decimal, which is the 2, understand, it's stated that we have moved 247 pips. That means if for instance I place a trade on this segment here, up onto this segment here, I will literally be making 247 pips. Remember that the last number here is a pipette. It's a fractional pip. Is not really significant when it comes to calculation of pips in the market. And why this one is also the number of candles that are moved from this point here over to this point here. That's the number of candles that we have created over time. So that's how to calculate pips when it comes to the Euro USD. Now I'm going to be showing us how to calculate pips in the market also. So please stay tuned and watch how we calculate pips in the gold.